Rod Parsley's public persona is built around bold proclamations, challenging controversial issues, and positioning himself as a fearless moral leader. Throughout his Silent No More campaign, he has called out homosexuality, Mormonism, Islam, and high-profile figures like Muhammad Ali and Louis Farrakhan. Parsley has framed himself as a fearless warrior for what he sees as truth, often provoking confrontation for the sake of reinforcing his image as someone unafraid to tackle hard truths. Yet when it comes to the serious and deeply troubling allegations against him, his daughter Ashton Parsley, and the leadership of his ministry, that same bold energy is conspicuously absent. The inconsistency in Parsley's behavior is staggering. While he finds the courage to appear on major platforms like Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, he avoids confronting the accusations of abuse and manipulation within his own ministry. He has appeared on high-profile shows like Fox and Friends, Larry King Live, and Anderson Cooper 360. But when faced with the relatively smaller platforms of megamaniacs and Ohio for Freedom, Parsley retreats into silence. This disparity in his willingness to engage with critics and the platforms he chooses to appear on reveals a troubling double standard. Parsley is quick to face the public when it serves his interests or reinforces his image, but remains unwilling to engage with those who demand accountability from him. One of the clearest examples of this imbalance in Parsley's energy is his public criticism of Creflo Dollar's perspective on tithing. Parsley called out Dollar with ease, using his platform to challenge another religious leader on doctrinal matters. Yet when it comes to addressing allegations raised by Robin Torgrimson from Megamaniacs or Everett from Ohio for Freedom, Parsley's boldness vanishes. His refusal to engage with these individuals or confront the accusations head-on is deeply revealing. If Parsley is so willing to challenge others in the public sphere, why does he shy away when the criticism is directed at him? This is not the behavior of a leader with integrity, but of someone who seeks to protect his image at all costs. Even more telling is Parsley's reaction to the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent outrage from people of color. His response was condescending, dismissive, and most disturbingly, tone-deaf. Instead of showing empathy or acknowledging the systemic injustices that led to Floyd's death, Parsley chose to frame the outrage as bitterness that needed to be put away. His message, calling for people to move on, was not only ignorant of the deep historical and present-day realities of racism in America, but also indicative of a complete lack of understanding of the pain and anger that millions of people of color felt. This dismissal of a legitimate cry for justice reveals the depth of Parsley's detachment from the very real struggles that many in his congregation and across the country face daily. By choosing to diminish the significance of Floyd's murder and the resulting protests, Parsley once again shows his selective energy. He can passionately denounce issues like tithing or make controversial statements on platforms that bolster his image. But when it comes to showing compassion or understanding on issues of racial injustice, his message falls flat. Instead of using his platform to advocate for justice and healing, Parsley used it to belittle those fighting for equality. This is not just a failure of leadership, but a failure of basic human decency. Even more troubling is Parsley's reaction to those who have tried to hold him accountable. When an Instagram follower made the harmless suggestion for Parsley to go on Megamaniacs or Ohio for Freedom podcasts to address the allegations against him, Parsley responded by blocking them. This reaction is emblematic of his larger pattern of avoidance. Rather than engaging with the very serious accusations of abuse, manipulation, and misconduct within his ministry, Parsley chooses to silence his critics. This is not the behavior of an innocent man or a leader with integrity. It is the behavior of someone trying to shield himself from scrutiny and accountability. The allegations against Parsley, his daughter Ashton Parsley, and their inner circle are serious and should be treated as such. Former staff, employees, and members of World Harvest Church, along with former students of Valor Christian College, have come forward with stories of abuse and manipulation. These are not baseless accusations. They come from individuals who were once part of Parsley's ministry and are now speaking out about the toxic environment they experienced. Yet Parsley has remained silent, refusing to address these claims or take any meaningful steps toward accountability. This silence is damning. For someone who presents himself as a moral authority, Parsley's refusal to confront these allegations is not just inconsistent, it's cowardly. He has energy for public confrontations when it suits him, but when it comes to addressing the real harm caused within his ministry, he remains silent. This imbalance in behavior, where Parsley only shows boldness when it benefits him and retreats when confronted with his own failings, exposes the deep flaws in his leadership. Ultimately, Rod Parsley's refusal to engage with the allegations against him and his ministry reveals a profound lack of integrity. His selective energy, boldly calling out others while avoiding accountability himself, speaks to a leader more concerned with preserving his image than with seeking justice or truth. His silence in the face of these accusations is not the behavior of a man with nothing to hide, but that of someone unwilling to face the consequences of his actions. The imbalance in his behavior is clear. Parsley has energy for public attacks, but when the spotlight turns on him, he hides. This is not just hypocrisy, it is cowardice.